Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and since I started doing deficit deadlifts again, which is actually something I do pretty regularly in my training, and I'll show you guys a clip of it here. That was my 250 kilo 3-inch deficit deadlift from the other day. People are asking me, well, what's the purpose of a deficit deadlift? Why would you do that? Why would you want to increase the range of motion? And now for a few people who said, I don't understand how that's a deficit deadlift, you're not on blocks. Those plates are 6 inches smaller in diameter than standard plates that I was using. And if you cut that in half, you'll realize the bar is 3 inches closer to the floor. So you're adding 3 inches to the bottom of the range of motion compared to if you were using standard size plates. Now, that being said, why would anyone do deficit deadlifts? Why do a lot of top-level lifters advocate deficit deadlifts? The answer is pretty simple here, guys. For most lifters, and let's go back to that word most, the overwhelming majority, I know some of you know some exceptions, I'm not going to get into that, I know some exceptions, but they are the exception of the rule, not to the norm. They're relatively rare. If you fail a deadlift, it is because you started too slow out of the bottom. On a conventional deadlift, for the majority, it means you either couldn't break it off the floor or you broke it off the floor slow that you couldn't get enough momentum to lock it. And generally, if you can explode a weight off the floor fast on a conventional deadlift, 90% or more of lifters will be able to lock it out completely at the top, if they can get enough inertia out of the bottom. By doing a deficit deadlift, you are actually making it more difficult to pull from the bottom. It is harder because you're taking the weakest part of the range of motion and you're extending it further down. You're making it even more difficult to get it moving because you're having to bend down lower, you're having to get down tighter. And what it does is that, outside of the fact that it obviously recruits a bit more hamstring than doing your normal conventional deadlift, what it does is that it forces you to get tighter. It forces you to have to develop even more speed and power to move the same weight out of the bottom. Now, once you get it moving, obviously your strength curve returns back to what it would be with that weight on your conventional deadlift, but you're having to train yourself to generate more power out of the bottom. This is a very old time proven technique for increasing your deadlift. And this is an all-around good accessory replacement lift for the deadlift, particularly during different parts of your training, because it still maintains through most of the movement the same biomechanics and bar path that you would normally be using, but it makes it more difficult and trains you to get tighter and focus more on your technique and get more explosive through the weakest part. And I have personally found in the past that when I was stuck with a given weight on the conventional deadlift, that the deficit deadlift was the easiest way for me to overcome it. And the thing you have to remember with the deadlift, if you can get more explosive off the floor, you will always get stronger. In fact, the deficit deadlift can sometimes even correct your lockout problems on the conventional deadlift because of the fact that if you can get it moving faster, it will be easier to lock the same amount of weight. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.